Nate Sandvig, appreciate your hard work. No good deed goes unpunished. I'm personally and professionally committed to climate change, and I feel like we're going to get there. Certainly, Oregon, Washington, California, the blue wall, and there's a lot of alignment there. Just to kind of pivot a little bit, I'm here. I have a 2-year-old, 4-year-old, a 6-year-old, and an 8-year-old, and I think education and providing our kids with the tools and the technical skills to address climate change and a lot of these other issues, and so I'm here because I think education is really important, and probably most of us will probably be 6 feet under by the time the program really starts going, and so just trying to get our kids educated and make sure class sizes are small and there's investments in the school infrastructure, and they have the skills to go out and do these. And just internationally, I took a trip over to Switzerland for work, and they have the technical skills to do these massive mega projects. They have enough renewables in Europe to power the West Coast, and so there's a lot of things we can learn internationally on what's working. But just to kind of come back to kind of the top line issue with education, I think that's really important. And I see my kids go off to Dunaway, and you can't even drink out. Just the age of the infrastructure, and then just the class sizes, and giving them the tools and access to everybody, access to what they need, on a progressive timeline. So when they graduate and then they go to college, they can come out and be a productive, contributing member of society. And we don't need to spend time, educating, people on what climate change is. They already, know it and are committed to addressing, that existential threat and, other issues, affordable housing and homelessness and whatnot. But that's what I'm here for, and so I'd be interested in hearing, just what's being done about education, how we can help support you in advocating for more funding for our schools, smaller class sizes, everything they need to be successful.
So I have not been part of the Joint Committee for Student Success. I did go to the Joint Committee for Student Success is a bicameral, bipartisan, so senators and representatives, Republicans and Democrats committee that's been traveling around the state for the last year and a half, visiting different school districts, meeting with students directly to ask them how their experience has been, what they need. If they had, my colleague Julie Fahey asks a great question every time, which is, if you had money, we forgave you the budget, what would you spend it on? Which gives her a great idea of what students are lacking in the different school districts.
What do you define as student? Is that like K through 12?
K through 12.
Okay.
Yep. So this has been a targeted committee since Oregonians capped our property taxes 25 years ago. The funding for local school districts used to come from about 2/3 local property taxes, and has now flipped almost proportionally to the state. And we have not radically changed the way that we fund our state. We're still heavily reliant upon personal income taxes and personal corporate taxes, those sort of pass-throughs. Very little from corporations. But getting that right in a way that isn't is a boost to our economy and does not hurt companies has been a very involved process. My colleague Phil Barnhart just retired this year after I think 17 years. Anybody? Upwards of 14, I think I know for sure. One of our longest serving members. He's been working on revenue reform his entire time in the legislature. But we have gotten, I think, at least a very solid understanding that we cannot continue to perpetuate this underfunding of our schools for another 25 years. And it is, what is the right balance of cost reforms and tax reforms that are going to enable us to provide a more stable funding. We're a very cyclical general fund. When we're all doing well, which is why you'll hear my Republican colleagues say, this is the most revenue Oregon has ever had. Well, it's one of the best economies we've ever had. It's the best economy I think we've ever had as a state. We're all doing well. We have a great low unemployment rate, and so our general fund's very robust. It's doing better than performed, so we're all going to be getting a kicker back. Most of that kicker goes to the wealthiest Oregonians. That's in our constitution, so we can't do a lot around our structural inequities. If anybody would like to start an initiative petition, again, things that, you know.
Kick the kicker.
It's like climate change. Everybody says, yes, I want this thing to happen, but please don't make it happen to my wallet. You know, it is like, I really enjoy seeing that $80 show up next year, and I like the assurance of making sure the legislature doesn't spend too much money on it, you know, on things that I don't necessarily see day to day. That's what happens in any huge big budget.